Your last reminder, I guess. Remember that on Thursday, El Jueves, is the last day of this class, and we'll be taking our Chapter 3 test, which will effectively serve as your final. All right? So there's one kind of big thing and then a small thing to cover. So if you could, por favor, open your libros to page 100, 100. Okay? And they introduce a couple of new verbs. Now, throughout the semester, we have learned how to work with AR verbs, with ER verbs, and with IR verbs. And as I mentioned in the last chapter, you're kind of expected to remember how those verbs work and the meanings, and you drop the AR, drop the ER, add your endings, o, asa, amos, an, osa, emos, en, osa, emos, is, and en. Okay? But now we introduce verbs that still use those endings, okay? Nothing has changed, except for the yo form, okay? The yo form is different, okay? Everything else is the same, but you just need to either remember or memorize or whatever with the yo form, all right? So, if you look in your book on page 100, it starts off with the verb hacer, okay? Now, hacer means to do or to make, okay? The yo form of hacer is hago, okay? Just hago. And then if you look at the rest, your textbook lines it all out for you. But if you look at the rest, you just drop the ER, and it's the same endings. Haces, hace, hacemos, haces, hacen, okay? So if you're good with ER endings, the only tiny bit extra thing you have to remember now is that the yo form is weird, okay? And it's not aso, or actually, because it's an O, it'd be pronounced hako. You would change it to a G. It's ago, okay? If you look at the very bottom, okay, it gives you a chart of all of the different forms of the verb. But once again, since we've already worked with AR, ER, IR verbs, you should still have those endings up here. The only thing now you have to add is the yo form, okay? And so in the middle part, it actually gives you the meaning and then just the yo form, okay? So for example, poner, the verb poner means to put or to place. The yo form of poner is pongo, all right? But then everything else, once again, if you drop the ER, pones, pone, ponemos, pones, pone, okay? I skipped over oír because I stole this slide from a different publisher, and so it's not in your textbook. You don't need to remember this one to hear, but it's okay. The verb salir means to leave or to go out. The yo form is salgo. Okay, so I'm leaving, yo salgo, or I'm going out, yo salgo. Okay. If we combine it with what we learned with the verb ir on Thursday, or Tuesday and Thursday of last week, voy a salir, I'm going to leave, or I'm going to go out. So you talk about your plans for the weekend or the future or whatever, okay? But anyways, salgo is the yo form, all right? Drop the IR, sales, sale, salimos, salis, and then salen, okay? Traer means to bring, all right? I'm not going to do the same thing with all of them. The yo form is traigo. And then the verb ver, okay? Ver means to see, all right? Now, little thing about the verb ver, looking for Matisa, is that it can also mean to watch. And sometimes they're interchangeable. It all depends on the context, because obviously if you're watching something, you can clearly see it, but if you see something, doesn't necessarily mean you're watching it, all right? But they can mean both, okay? The yo form of ver is veo, all right? Now, just as an aside, because if you look at these verbs, okay, if you look at hacer and salir and traer and poner, and if we were doing oír, okay, these are sometimes called go verbs because all the yo forms end in what? They end in go, okay? Hago, pongo, salgo, trigo, okay? And sometimes we'll throw in, if you recall from the last chapter, tener, you say tengo, all right? So sometimes that's considered a go verb also. So that's just a little device, a little way to remember them. Now, of course, it doesn't apply to ver or some of the other ones, which I have been saving, all right? Now, I'm gonna just mute this for a little bit, okay? The verb conocer means to know, okay? And the yo form is conozco, all right? The verb saber also means to know, and the yo form is sé, okay? Now, you notice there's an accent on the sé. The accent is necessary, okay? Because there are other words in Spanish that use se, say, and not to get too technical, this is how we write the passive voice in Spanish. If you don't know what the passive voice is, ask your English teacher. I don't know how to explain. But in Spanish, when we use the passive voice, we use the word say. It's also part of certain verbs, okay? And so in order to distinguish that, we use an accent mark for the yo form of saber. Now, conocer means to know, saber means to know, and we're going to get into that, give you about 10, 15 minutes. What's the difference and when do we use which one, okay? Now, the last two are AR verbs, okay? The verb dar, all right? The verb dar means to give, okay? The yo form is doy, D-O-Y. Now, this one, I did it like this because it is so simple. You drop the AR, and all you're left with is a D. Das, da, damos, dice, dan. Okay? It follows the rule, completely, except for the yo form. All right? The last verb is estar. Okay? Does anyone remember what estar means? Because we have used it. To be. Yes, it means to be. In Espanol, we have two verbs that mean to be. All right? Estar is one of them. Typically, we use estar when we are talking about to be. We use it for location. Okay? Like, donde está el baño? Where's the bathroom? Okay? If somebody's absent, donde está Tyler? Where is Tyler? Okay, we want to know his location. Okay? We also use it to talk about feelings. Okay? If you recall back the first day of class, I asked you, ¿Cómo estás? All right? What does ¿Cómo estás mean? How are you? Now, even though it translates to just how are you, the implication behind it, and I'll use Dale as an example, is Dale, how are you doing today, physically, mentally, and or emotionally? Okay? ¿Cómo estás? All right? And he can say, estoy bien. I'm fine, physically, mentally, and or emotionally. Okay? Estoy mal. I'm doing poorly. It's a bad day. Okay? Estoy enfermo. I'm sick. Okay, I woke up, I'm coughing, I'm congested, okay? Estoy cansado, all right? I had to work a double yesterday and I had to close, and so I am exhausted today. So, your feelings, how you're feeling at the moment. Remember with ser, we use it to describe people, okay? Lexi es rubia, Lexi is blonde, okay? Shuya es alto, Shuya is tall, all right? We use it to give like the day, hoy es martes, all right? We use it to, you know, as a possessive, okay? El libro es de Michaela, all right? So, with a star, location, and feelings, okay? Now, in Espanol dos, we do more with ser and estar. But for now, the yo form of estar is estoy, okay? Everything else is just a regular AR verb. But with estar, let me back up. Normally with AR verbs, only the vosotros form has an accent mark on the A. With estar, the tú form, the el, ella, usted form, and the ellos, ellas, ustedes form all have accent marks. All right, the only ones that don't are literally yo estoy and nosotros estamos. All right, those are the only ones with no accent marks. Everything else, tú estás, él está, vosotros estáis, ellos están. I'm sorry for using the masculine. All right, but all of those have an accent mark. All right, that's the only difference. All right. Preguntas, questions? Then we'll do a practice. Okay. It's the sheet I sent last week. At the very top it says all right. Pass one to them too. Give one to Lexi, por favor. Okay. Give one to Diana, por favor. And give one to por favor. Okay. All right, so this is literally what's going to be on your exam. Not these exact same ones, but I am going to give you a verb. I am going to give you a subject that is, once again, painfully obvious. You just need to fill in the blank with the correct form of the verb. I am only going to give you these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, these 8 verbs, that's it. You know, because these are the only ones we're working with. You just need to fill in the blank with the correct form. Now, once again, it is expected that you remember your AR, ER, IR verbs. So that should be easy enough if you remember them. The only new information now are the yo forms. Doy, estoy, hago, pongo, salgo, traigo, veo, conozco, and sé. All right? So I mixed it up on the sheet. So take a few momentos, okay? If you look at number 1, all right? Ellos traer mucho dinero al club. They bring a lot of money to the club. Well, the ellos form of an ER verb is you know, drop the ER, add EN. Ellos traen, okay? If you look at numero 2, yo salir con tu familia, going out with your family. Well, you have to remember that the yo form of salir is salgo. All right, so yo salgo con tu familia. I'm going out with your family. I suppose it could mean I'm leaving with your family, but going out with them makes more sense. All right, so take a few mementos. Some of you are like way ahead of me. Fill in the blanks with the correct form, and then we'll go through them together. So you have what I have on the board. In addition, the verbs are also at the bottom of page 100, or the various forms. Here, lo siento, I actually have to turn this off. All right, so número tres, okay? You're just filling in the blank with the correct form of the verb. We will start con Lexi, por favor, if you can read la sentence.
Number what?
Tres.
Yo nunca hago la tarea.
Muy bien, I never do homework. So the yo form of hacer, you just have to memorize. Hago. Yo nunca hago. All right. Número cuatro, then, Diana. Muy bien. So you all always put your clothes in the living room. Just a regular ER verb. Drop the ER at EIS. Okay. Número cinco, Liz. Muy bien. She's going out with her friends tonight. Once again, regular IR verb. Just drop the IR, add in E. Okay. Número seis, number 6. Michaela?
Ellos nunca traen sus libros.
Muy bien. Ellos nunca traen sus libros. Once again, regular ER verb. Just add an EN. Número 7. Shuya? Muy bien. So I always see movies or watch movies on DVD. And so, yeah, you just have to remember that the yo form is veo, okay? Número 8, number 8, Felice. I never give answers. Yo nunca doy. Once again, you just have to remember that the yo form is doy, okay? Número 9, number 9, Lauren. Muy bien. ¿Conoces a mi primo Jesús? Do you know my cousin Jesus? And before you like, Santos, what the fuck? No, Jesus is a very common boy's name in Spanish. We don't have the same aversion to it as in English. I have 2 cousins named Jesus. I know, right? It's fun. I'm always a jerk when people come around like, have you found Jesus? I'm like, yeah, he's in Mexico. Both of them are. And so they're just like, huh? Anyways, número 10, Jay. Once again, just have to remember that the yo form is hago. So yo hago todo muy bien. I do everything well. Okay. Número 11, number 11, Dale.
Ella está en la biblioteca.
She is in the library. Ella está en la biblioteca. We're giving her location. And I know Dale, I don't have to walk over there. I know there's an accent over the A. Dale's like, yes, there is. You know. All right, there is now. All right. Number 12, numero 12. Do you have that one, Miriam? Yeah, in the yo form. Okay, it would just be say, okay, S-E, with an accent on the E. So, yo nunca sé la hora, I don't know the hour, or I don't know the time, okay? Back to you, Lexi, número 13, number 13.
Yo siempre traigo el libro a clase.
Muy bien, I always bring my book to class. Once again, just remembering that the yo form is trigo. Number 14, Diana. Muy bien, just a regular ER verb. Drop the ER, add the EN. They don't know my cousin. Ellas no conocen a mi primo. Number 15, número 15, Liz. Muy bien, why don't you put the pen on the table? Once again, poner, just an ER verb. So in the tu form, drop the ER, add an ES. So put the pen on the table. 16, 16, Michaela.
A la profesora Jones.
You could just say Jones, but
Oh, okay.
Jones is bueno. I like that. Muy bien. Base, just the vosotros form, drop the ER, add EIS. Okay, so excelente. Number 17, 17, Shuya. Muy bien. Remember that the phrase hacer ejercicio means either to work out or to exercise or to do exercise. So I never do exercise or I never work out. All right. And once again, the yo form is just hago. Feliz 18, por favor. Muy bien. I put the iPod in the bedroom. Yo pongo. Once again, just remembering that the yo form is pongo. 19, 19, Lauren? Muy bien. I always go out with my friends on Saturday. Okay, yo salgo. Okay, and the last one, número 20, Jay? Muy bien. Did you bring a pencil? Okay, traes un lápiz. Just drop the ER. Add ES. All right. Now, if you could go to page 101, por favor. Hold on to that. Like I said, this is exactly how I'm doing it on the exam. Okay. Now, if you look at 3-26 on page 101. Okay. A couple of questions. All right. If you look at numero uno, I'm not going to do the very first one, but if you look at the second part, ¿Qué vas a hacer este fin de semana? I should have left that on. Lo siento. Remember, vas is a form of ir. Voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van. Okay? So what is ¿Qué vas? All right? What are you going? And then what does hacer mean? To do. So, what are you going to do? Does anyone remember what fin de semana? Yeah. So, what are you going to do on the weekend? This weekend. Okay. I know it's only martes. All right. Maybe you haven't thought that far in advance. But. Voy a ir de compras. What is ir de compras? Go shopping. It's grocery shopping, but voy a ir de compras. I'm going to go shopping. I'm going to go grocery shopping. Okay? Take un momento and think. One thing. All right? Give you a hint. You're all going to start with voy a. I'm going to. All right? You can choose from the activities we've learned. You can use another verb from previous chapters. So, Feliz, ¿qué vas a hacer el fin de semana? Voy a trabajar. What does trabajar mean? Work. I'm going to work. Voy a trabajar. ¿Y tú, Dale? What are you doing this weekend?
Voy a trabajar.
Also, voy a trabajar. Yeah, I don't doubt a lot of you are probably working. Okay. Liz, ¿qué vas a hacer el fin de semana? Also, voy a trabajar. Am I the only one that gets to go shop? Probably. All right, Dale's like, jerk. So yeah, so voy a trabajar for many of you, okay? Ever since I got into education, I've always had my weekends off and major holidays. So one of the few perks, okay, of being in education, okay? The next part, vas a estar en casa o vas a salir. So once again, the ir, are you going to, vas a. What is estar en casa? Because estar, Jay? Yeah, are you going to be at home? Are you going to stay at home? Are you going to be at the house? However you want to translate it. Okay, so muy bien. So are you going to stay home? O vas a salir? What does salir mean? Go out, yeah. So this weekend, are you staying home or are you going out? All right. So Jay, vas a estar en casa o salir? Voy a estar en casa. I'm going to be home. All right. The people that are working, I know you're leaving the house. All right. Unless you work remotely. All right. So Michaela, since we didn't ask you, vas a estar en casa o vas a salir? En casa. Okay. Muy bien. All right. Skip down to número 3. Okay. What does the expression hacer ejercicio mean again? Yes, to work out, to exercise. Okay? So, cuando haces ejercicio, when you work out, I'm skipping over the first question. ¿Ves videos cuando haces ejercicio? What does ver mean again? To watch or to see. So, do you watch videos? And in this case, obviously the book is a little outdated. You know, do you have your YouTube on? Do you have, I don't know, if you're like one of those Peloton people with like the lady in front of you telling you to do shit. All right, are you watching videos when you work out? Okay, we're gonna ask Lexi. ¿Ves videos cuando haces ejercicio? Is this a C or no?
No.
No. Okay. I know Shuya works out. ¿Ves videos cuando haces ejercicio? Sí. Okay, muy bien. Lauren, ¿ves videos cuando haces ejercicio? No. Okay. So you don't have the lady motivating you, yelling at you. No. Okay, está bien. Okay. And then finally, ¿pones la tele o el estéreo cuando haces ejercicio? The verb poner, even though it means to put or to place, when you use it with certain appliances or like music, it means to like put on, like you turn it on. All right. So it's asking you, do you turn on the TV? And once again, it's a little outdated. We don't have stereos, we have our phones. So in this case, I'm going to switch it out with música. Pones la tele o la música cuando haces ejercicio. Okay? So if you turn on the TV, like for background noise, or you put on music, all right, you just start off with pongo. I put on some, you know. So Dale, when you work out, ¿pones la tele or pones la música? Pongo la música. All right, muy bien. ¿Y tú, Jay, cuando haces ejercicio, when you work out, ¿pones la tele o pones la música? Pongo la música. Excelente. Y Liz, cuando haces ejercicio, when you work out, ¿pones la tele o pones la música? Muy bien. Okay, excelente. So literally, I put on music, all right, to work out. Okay? Any preguntas on those? All right then, turn the page, por favor. Okay, and as you can see, we will look at specifically saber and conocer. Okay, so on page 102, 102. Okay, now, as I mentioned, both saber and conocer mean to know. Okay, but, and you will find this if you continue studying Español, sometimes we have two verbs that are equivalent to one action in English, and unfortunately they are not interchangeable. Okay, you use them in certain circumstances. So, when do we use saber? Oh, and I'm sorry, lo siento. I put up the different forms up here for you, just once again, since we only learned them like 20 minutes ago. All right, so the yo form is se, and then remember that everything else is just a regular ER verb, but I do have them up here for you. Okay? When do we use to know? When do we use saber to mean to know? Número uno. If you talk about knowing facts or information. Okay? Facts or information. All right? I know her name. Yo sé su nombre. Okay? I know where Shuya is from. Yo sé de donde es Shuya. Okay? I know her age. Sorry, blank out there. Yo sé la edad de Liz. Okay? You're like, okay, no sé. All right, I don't know. All right, so facts are information, okay, about people, about things, about whatever, okay? And then numero dos, we use it when we talk about knowing how to do something. Okay? Now, when we talk about knowing how to do something, typically saber is the first verb. And I drew that to show you that, you know, you have to change it, you have to conjugate it. And then, whatever action that you are claiming to know how to do. All right? Now, once again, remember that when you have two verbs, you change the first one. What do you do with the second one? Somebody whispered nothing. Yes, you do nothing with it. Okay? So, yo sé leer. I know how to read. All right? So I changed saber. I use the yo form. And then leer is just leer. All right? Yo sé leer. Okay? Yo sé jugar el tenis. I know how to play tennis. Okay? And once again, only because I know information about Shuya, Shuya sabe, he knows, jugar al béisbol. He knows how to play baseball. Okay? So, a form of saber, and then whatever it is that you know how to do. Okay? When do we use conocer to mean to know? Right? Numero uno. When you say that you know people, that you know a person. Okay? Yo conozco a Feliz. I know Feliz. All right? She took history with me last year. She's taking Spanish with me this year. Okay? I know Feliz. All right? Yo conozco a Lexi. I know Lexi. She's been my student for, I don't know, 12, not 12, like 3.5 months now. All right? Yo conozco a Lexi. All right? Now, it doesn't have to be a proper noun. You can just say, I know that person. Yo conozco a esa persona. Okay? Yo conozco a la familia de Michaela. I know Michaela's family. Okay? So anything that implies people. Okay? Once again, does not have to be a name, does not have to be, it can just be whatever. Okay? As long as it involves people. All right? Numero dos. If you talk about being familiar with places or things. Okay? I've lived in the same on the same street in South Utica for almost 20 years. Okay? So I can say, yo conozco South Utica. All right? I'm familiar with that neighborhood. All right? I know where the streets are. I know where different places are. I could probably tell you how to get, from here to, whatever point A to point B in that neighborhood. Okay? I have spoken and studied Spanish for over 10 years. Okay? Yo conozco el libro de español. I am familiar with this book. Okay? So I've used it for a long time, for all of those years that I've taught. Okay? Yo conozco el libro. I'm familiar with a thing. Okay? Yo conozco el iPhone. All right. I know how to, message things and apps and how to airdrop. Hell, I had to like explain to one or two of you how to airdrop me stuff. All right. So yo conozco el iPhone. All right. I am familiar. All right. I've been to Mexico, so yo conozco Mexico. Okay. I've been there. I'm familiar with Mexico City and a couple other places. All right. Finalmente, and this is probably the easiest one because it doesn't mean to know it all. We also use conocer to talk about meeting people. So if we ever use it to mean to meet, okay? Now, of course, it has to do with people, so that's why we use conocer. But conocer also means to meet, okay? Now, about 95% of the time, I'm gonna write 95%, when we use it to mean to meet, there is another verb in front of it. And conocer is the second verb. So what does that mean? What are we going to do with conocer when we use it in a sentence? We're going to change it? It's the second verb. No. Okay. Let's see, I can use Felice as an example once again because she's been my student for almost 2 years, and I can say to her, Felice, necesito conocer a tu familia. I need to meet your family. I want to understand why this is right here. Okay, so necesito conocer a tu familia. Okay, usually the verb that is used with it, and unfortunately we don't have time to learn it. Quiero from querer means to want. Okay, so I can say to maybe Lexi, quiero conocer a tu hermano. I would like to meet your brother. Okay, wait, do you have a brother? No, that's okay. Your imaginary brother. Quiero conocer a tu hermano. I want to meet your brother, okay, and such, all right? So generally, there will be another verb in front, and conocer will just be left alone. Now, there is a small chance, okay, about 5% chance, that you will use conocer by itself, all right? But it doesn't come up often. It will come up in one of the exercises that we're going to do, just so I can show you, but generally it doesn't. Okay. Now, the last thing with this, no, there's two last things. If you want to make it negative, like always, just put a no in front. So if you ever just say no say, what does no say mean? I don't know. Yeah, someone asks you, hey Dale, what time is it? No say. I don't know. All right. Hey Liz, what's Diana looking at? She's like, no say, I don't know. Type of thing. All right, just no say, I don't know. Okay? Now, everything I've just talked about, all right, is all on page 102 in the gray area. Okay? But there is one concept that we use with the verb conocer predominantly, that isn't a thing in English, all right? And that is what we call the personal a. Okay? Whenever the object of a sentence is a person, in Spanish, we always have to put the letter A in front of the person. Okay? Yo conozco a Michaela. I can't just say conozco Michaela. Okay? Yo conozco a la familia de Lexi. I know Lexi's family. Okay? Because family is made up of people, I have to put an a in front of family. Okay? And even when I did this one and I said, Dale, necesito conocer a tu hermano. I need to meet your brother. Okay? So we use the personal a in front of a person. This concept does not exist in English. Okay? It does not exist in a lot of other languages. Portuguese has it, but like other Romance languages like French and stuff don't. Okay? I've asked my Japanese students in the past, they say it doesn't exist in Japanese. You don't, yeah, he's like, yeah, we don't. It doesn't exist in English either, all right? It's an entirely unique thing to Spanish, pretty much, okay? And so please do not try to translate that A. A lot of students are like, I know to Shuya, because A typically means two. I'm like, no, conozco a Shuya? No, it's just I know Shuya. All right, but whenever you know a person, you always put a in front of that person. Okay, now, if you come back for Spanish too, we'll get into the fact that it isn't just the verb conocer, it's any verb that has a direct object, all right, with the exception of the verb tener. Tener doesn't use the personal a. That's why you don't say yo tengo a tres hermanos, I have 3 brothers, it's just tengo tres hermanos, all right? But if you, oh my God, I'm very English, okay? Pero, if you say, for example, yo veo a la clase, it's not just yo veo la clase, I see the class, because I'm talking about the people in the class. Yo veo a la clase, or yo veo a los estudiantes, I see the students, all right? I always have to put an a in front of it, okay? So, does not exist in English. Put it in front of people, okay? Now, when I was little Santos and learning this in elementary school, it literally only applied to people, humans, okay? About 10 years ago, they changed the rule. Now, you can also use it with pets, okay? So, I can say, necesito conocer a el perro de Feliz. I need to meet Felice's dog. Holy crap. But, because it's a el perro, what do we have to do? Because this still applies. Okay? So yeah, with the personal a, you still have to do this. Okay? So, necesito conocer al perro de Feliz. I need to meet Felice's puppy. Okay? Obviously, if I knew its name, I'd use the name, but do you have a dog?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so, even better, necesito conocer a los perros de Feliz. See, now I can separate, because it's not el, it's los. Okay? So yeah, with pets. Now, if it's any other animal, like if you want to say, oh, I want to meet some lions. No, it's not quiero conocer a leones. No, it's quiero conocer leones. Why would you want to meet lions? I don't know. But if it's just a wild animal, then no. But if it's your pet, yes. All right? Preguntas on this. Then, all right, so at the very top, okay, if you look, they're in English. If you were to say it in Spanish, do we use saber or do we use conocer? Okay, so if you look at number 1, she never knows the answer. Knowing an answer, would that be saber or conocer? Saber. Whoever said that, you're right. Okay, but why? What is an answer, or what is an answer made up of? Information, muy bien. It could be facts too. All right, but information, muy bien. Número 2. Do you know where Raúl is? Saber or conocer? Do you know where he is? Are you sure? Liz is like, no, I'm not. Dale?
I think it's severity, it's information about him, but at the same time it's a place, so I don't know.
Okay. It's his location, which is information about him. I'm not asking if you know him. I'm not asking him if you know the place. I'm asking, do you know where he is? Which is, once again, information. Okay? I know he's coming back later.
Also severity.
We did, yes. And what's the piece of information you know? When he's coming. All right? Número tres. All right, now Michaela and Liz. I don't know the girl. Conocer, yes, because you talk about knowing a person. Remember, it doesn't always have to be a proper name. I don't know the girl, but I know she's from Chile. Why, Felice? Yeah, she knows a fact about her. All right, knows information about her. Okay. Número cuatro. My friend doesn't know how to play the guitar. Playing the guitar. Saber or conocer? Saber. Why? You're correct, Michaela. Muy bien. In this case, not knowing, but yes, knowing how to do something. All right. Número cinco. Do you know Paris well?
Conocer,
Why, Dale? You're right.
because you're familiar with that's familiar.
Yeah, like, have you been there, Dale? Like, do you know how to get to the Eiffel Tower? Do you know the best place to stay? Do you know, like, which hotel? You know, whatever. Yeah, are you familiar with Paris? All right. They say, no, I know Madrid much better. Same. Okay, same reason. All right, yeah, you're familiar with Madrid. So Dale's been to Madrid. He knows the best hostels. He knows the best restaurants. He knows that if you go anywhere from like 2 to 4 o'clock, everyone's asleep, so don't bother. He boom, he's familiar with Madrid. Okay. Number 6, I hope nobody gets this one wrong because it's the only one that is a little different. My friend wants to meet my unmarried cousin. Saber or conocer? Come on, Dale.
Conocer.
Conocer, yeah, because it's the only one that means to meet. All right. Número 7, number 7. I don't know why she wants a dog. Saber or conocer? Saber. What's the information, Felice? Yeah, well, one, they don't know, but we don't know why she wants a dog. Okay? Number 8, I know San Francisco pretty well. Saber or conocer? Yeah. You've been there, you've done all the tourist traps, you've lived there, I don't know, however you know San Francisco. But I still don't know all the good restaurants. Also conocer, yeah, you haven't been to all the places there are to eat, okay? Not that you don't know information about them, I'm sure you could, Google it, but you've never actually been there, okay? Do you know what we have to do tonight? Saber or conocer? Knowing what we're doing tonight. Saber, yes, Michaela, ¿por qué?
I guess it's like information.
It is information. What are we doing tonight, Michaela? Come on. All right, you were in charge of planning it. All right, so what are we doing? And then número 10, hey, I know that guy. Conocer, yes. Okay, because once again, knowing a person, knowing people. All right. Now, if you look at the second part, all right, this one's a little harder because number 1, you have to decide between saber and conocer, and then of course number 2, you need to be able to conjugate the verb properly. Okay. So if you look at número 1, yo know Beatriz. Beatriz is Spanish for Beatrice, which is a proper name, so it's a person. So first off, is it saber or conocer? It's conocer. Muy bien. And what is the yo form of conocer? Conozco. So number one, yo conozco a Beatriz. I know Beatrice. Pero no know de donde es. But I don't know where she's from. It's still in the yo form. Say. Okay, I don't know where she's from. No say. So I know her, but I don't know this little bit of information about her. Okay? And I know like Liz has been in my class for a couple months now. I couldn't even remember her age. I definitely don't know where she's from. All right, so yo conozco a Liz, no sé de dónde es. Lo siento. All right, número dos. Esos chicos, those guys, know jugar al basketball muy bien. They know how to play basketball really good. Is it saber or conocer, first off? Saber. And so what is the saber? What is the ellos form of saber? Saben. So esos chicos saben jugar al basketball muy bien. Those guys know how to play basketball really good. Number three, número tres. Do you know cuánto dinero necesito para el cine? Do you know how much money I need for the movies? Sabes. Muy bien. It's saber because the information is how much money we need and it's in the tu form. Okay? I'm going to shut up. All right? And por favor, do as much of you can as the rest because there's actually 2 or 3 of them that are really hard. Or maybe you guys are like, that was easy, Santos. But do what you can. Remember, determine if it's saber or conocer. And then I have the conjugations up here for you. And if you don't get them all, don't worry, because I know this one's a little harder. All right, if you're not completely there, do not worry. All right. Número cuatro. Diego cocina muy bien. Diego is a really good cook. Él knows preparar muchos platos venezolanos. He knows how to prepare Venezuelan food. All right. So we'll start with Lexi. Can you give us the verb and the form that you chose?
Sabe.
Él sabe muy bien. Yes, because in this case he knows how to do something, and the él form is sabe. All right. So perfect. Muy bien, Lexi. Número 5. ¿Por qué no know ustedes la respuesta? Why don't y'all never know the answer? You guys don't know the answer. So, número 5, number 5, Diana, what verb and form did you choose?
Okay.
It would be saben, okay, because it's ustedes, it's alls y'alls. All right, so ustedes saben. So why don't y'all know the answer? Okay, this one's a little harder. Know algo, because that's not how you would say it in English. It's wanna know something, okay? Mi amigo Rafael quiere salir contigo. My friend Rafael wants to go out with you. So Liz, number 6, what verb and what form? Sabes, yes. So I'm going up to Liz saying, hey Liz, you wanna know something? My friend wants to go out with you. All right, so in this case, something implies information, so sabes. Okay, and number 7, Rafael. ¿Quién es? Rafael, who's that? Yo no know anyone named Rafael. So, Michaela, what verb and what form?
It's kind of scary, and it's
Conozco.
yeah.
Pretty good. All right, muy bien, está bien. Yeah, I don't know anyone named Rafael. So you're saying I don't know that person. Who the hell is that guy? Is he cute? No? Okay, then I don't want to go out with him. All right, so muy bien. Okay. Número 8. Blank tú a la familia de tu novio. Do you know your boyfriend's family? Okay. Shuya, por favor, the verb you chose and what form?
Saber. Sabes.
Because a family is people, it's conoces, okay? So conoces a la familia de tu novio. Do you know your boyfriend's family? Now, this is also part of this 5%, where it can also, depending on the context, it could also mean, have you met your boyfriend's family? Conoces a la familia de tu novio, all right? Or did you already meet the boyfriend's family? But in this case, because it does deal with people, it's conocer. Okay? Muy bien. This one's a little harder, but you got this, Felice? You think? So, en el futuro, in the future, I want, well, this one gives it away. I want to meet a beautiful, intelligent, nice, and rich woman.
So that's
Yeah. Is it just conocer?
yeah.
Okay, muy bien. In this case, because you see the verb, quiero in front of it, so it's already conjugated, so conocer. And of course, in this case, because we want to meet her, all right, meet, all right. So I want to meet a beautiful, rich, intelligent, and nice woman, but yo know que eso va a ser difícil. I know that that's going to be really hard. It's impossible, but anyways. Say, muy bien. See, you got it. All right, so say, okay? Meaning that, yeah, I know that's a difficult task, okay? Número 10, Marcos, blank, si hay una prueba mañana. Do you know if we have a test tomorrow? Okay, so Lauren, your verb and which form? Sabes, muy bien. Do you know if there's a test tomorrow? Okay. Número 11, Jay, you get 2 of them, but They're both the same. Okay, so Pablo no blank jugar al tenis. Pablo doesn't know how to play tennis. Sabe, muy bien. Pero sí knows nadar muy bien. But he knows how to swim really good. So what's that one, Jay? Also sabe, muy bien. Yeah, he doesn't know how to play tennis, but he knows how to swim. Okay, muy bien. No blank que voy a hacer esta noche. I don't know what I'm doing tonight. Del?
Say.
No sé, muy bien. What's the information? What he's doing tonight. Okay. Number 13 is also one of the hard ones. Okay. So, ellos no know America Central. They don't know Central America. Meaning, they've never been there. So they're not familiar with it. Okay. What is conocer for ellos? Conocen. All right, so ellos no conocen América Central, pero know mucho de la política de esa región, but they know a lot about the politics in the area. Saber conocer if you know politics. Muy bien, okay? And so what's the ellos form? Saben, muy bien. So ellos saben mucho de la política. The last one. Queremos comer algo. We want to eat something. Pero no know dónde está el mercado. But we don't know where the market is. Okay? I am never ever going to give you one of these. I am never going to trip you up this way. This one could be both, depending on your perspective. Okay? I'm not familiar with this area. I don't know where any grocery stores are. Okay? No conocemos dónde está el mercado. We don't know, like, how many markets there are or whatever. If you literally don't know the location of a specific market, no sabemos dónde está el mercado. Okay? And so typically when this one comes up, I if we had more time, I let students debate it. You know, no, but like, what if it's like the location, the information? No, but what if you've never been to that market? Both sides are right, okay? You actually need more context to determine the correct one. But trust me, I would never, ever do that to you, make you suffer that way, all right? But that one could have been both, all right? So if you put sabemos or conocemos, you're right, okay? Now, the very last thing. Look at page 104, 104, all right? It's just a little more vocabulary, but this time it is weather vocabulary, okay? So you do need to be familiar with those expressions. Now, one of the things though, all right? Most weather expressions in Espanol use the verb hacer, all right? We just went over the verb hacer. What does hacer mean? To do or to make? You are not doing and you are not making anything. Okay? That is just the expression that we use in Spanish. Lo siento. I will apologize. Okay? We just use the verb hacer for weather. All right? And so, if someone asks, and this is the question, ¿Qué tiempo hace? That means, what is the weather like? ¿Qué tiempo hace? I brought props, okay? If you look to the left. All right, yeah. Beautiful Utica weather today, all right? So the first expression, if it's just nice, hace buen tiempo, you would just say, if today was like, sunny and let's say 70 degrees and, just absolutely perfect, and I said, Feliz, ¿qué tiempo hace? Hace buen tiempo, it's nice, okay? Hace fresco, it's chilly, okay? Maybe mid-50s, enough to need a hoodie, but you don't really need like anything more. Sorry, Diana, you don't need the puffy jacket that Diana's wearing. All right, so hace fresco. Okay, and of course it's always relative. One person's cool is another person's I'm freezing to death, and so on. Okay, if it was July, all right, hace calor. It's hot. Okay. Now a lot of people ask me, but Santos, I thought caliente means hot. In Spanish, we distinguish between caliente, which is touch temperature, and calor, which is like air temperature, like ambient temperature. Okay, so hace calor, it's hot. All right. Hace sol, it's sunny. Okay, well, in this case, we put a no in front of it. No hace sol. Okay, so if it was sunny today, hace frío. Okay, it's cold. And yeah, today I might say hace frío. I brought my coat with me. Hace frío. It's cold. And then finally, hace viento. It's windy. Hace viento. Which I'm looking at the tree branches and they are not moving. So, no hace viento. Okay, it is not windy today. Okay, now, when it comes to precipitation, all right, llueve, L-L-U-E-V-E. That means it's raining, all right? If I were to ask you, okay, Michaela, ¿qué tiempo hace? And if there was water falling out of the sky, all you have to do is say llueve, it's raining, okay? If it's that white, powdery, really pretty stuff, okay, nieva, it is snowing, okay? So if it was snowing right now, and I say, Liz, ¿qué tiempo hace? What's the weather like? She could turn left and say, nieva, it's snowing. All right? Now, those are the actions, okay? The textbook gives you llover and nevar as the infinitive form of the verb, okay? When would we ever use them like that? If I wrote va a nevar mañana, what is that sentence saying? Yeah, it's going to snow tomorrow. All right? So that's why you need to know, the unchanged form, the unconjugated form. All right? Va a nevar mañana. It's going to snow tomorrow. Or va a llover, I'll say sábado. See, you're telling us the future. It's going to rain Saturday. Va a llover sábado. All right? The nouns, the actual water. La lluvia. This is rain, but like I said, the water droplets, the noun. La nieve. This is the snow, the white, powdery, flaky stuff. If there was still some piled up, the stuff that they piled up the last time it snowed. Okay? That is the noun. All right? Typically, you would use it at least at this level. And I'm going to do it this way. What is no me gusta la lluvia mean? No me gusta la lluvia. I don't like the rain. I really don't. I hate it when it rains. I get depressed and angry and, lash out at people. No me gusta la lluvia. I don't like the rain. But, and call me weird, me gusta la feel free to disagree with me. What is me gusta la nieve? I like the snow. I really do. I enjoy it. Me gusta la nieve. Okay? I like the snow. All right? So that's how you would use it in the noun form, and how you would use it in the verb form to give us the future or tell us literally what is happening right now. Okay? The last thing, the last two phrases there, we use the verb estar to talk about literally what we have right now. Okay? Well, not the first one. Está despejado means it's clear. Está nublado means it's cloudy. Okay? Now, one that they did not give you, but is very useful. If hace buen tiempo means the weather's nice, what would hace mal tiempo be? Hace mal tiempo. Weather's bad, weather sucks. Okay? So, Feliz, look to your left. ¿Qué tiempo hace hoy? What's the weather like today? Hace mal tiempo, yeah. Está nublado, hace frío. Yeah, hace mal tiempo. Okay? Preguntas. Then, for El Thursday, okay, if you recall the sheet we did on likes and dislikes, where I gave you the expressions in English and had you translate them into Espanol, okay, that's the first part, okay. I'm going to give you, like, you know, I like volleyball, me gusta el voleibol, okay. I like coffee, me gusta el café. All right, the things that you like or the things that you like to do, it's all vocabulary from the chapter, basically. Okay? The verb ir, I literally gave you 6 sentences. You just need to fill in the blank with the correct form. Voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, va. Okay? So you need to know the forms of ir. Okay? I only gave you 4 where, just like the other sheet that we did, I'm going to work, voy a trabajar, okay? I'm going to class, voy a la clase, all right? But there's only 4 of those, but I took them, okay, this I can tell you, I actually took them from the sheet we did in class, so you just have to figure out which 4, all right? But yes, I will give them to you in English, you translate them into Espanol. The next part is literally what we did today with the go verbs, okay? There's only 8 of them, so there's not a whole lot of sentences. I did give you like a couple in the nosotros form, or the ellos form, or the ella form, but just know that, yes, you do really need to memorize the yo forms, okay, of those 8 verbs. Just fill in the blank, okay? Choosing between saber and conocer, all right, which one you would use, and I erased it, being able to conjugate them. And then, as I said, most of this is vocabulario, all right, so the different activities, months of the year, you should know the months, the seasons, okay, different places around town, all right, la iglesia, el parque, el museo, all right. Literally just, I gave it to you in Spanish, you gave it to me in English, all right. If you do the vocabulary, you'll end up doing really well, okay. On Thursday, you'll come in, you'll take the test, and that's it. You will never have to deal with Santos ever again until Espanol does. No, that's my holiday gift to all y'alls. Whichever holiday you celebrate. All right then, chicos. I'll say it now because, you guys were a good class. Thank you for a good semester. All right.